Hey, everybody. So I have a bunch that I want to go over, but really what we have to do is just kind of give it a minute here, let everybody kind of, you know, funnel in, and then I'll start going. There's just a ton to go over. So, it's a short week, but volumes are really going to start picking up this week, which is exactly what you're looking for. It's really exactly what you want to say. So it's one of those things where you're going to have some events that are going to really rock and roll this week. But overall, the most important thing that I could say to you is you're going to see volumes increase. And when that happens, you're going to see bigger movements than we've seen. And I can just start going through anything. It doesn't matter if you guys want to start throwing it out. This is definitely on my radar. I'll just tell you that now, like if you get rid of this, you're really hanging in there on AMC. I mean, you're really hanging in there. Look at this. I mean, it's like a textbook, right? You broke, now you're basing, but you're holding this level and you're forming this huge bull flag right under a resistance line, which is exactly what you want to see. And you're not coming down and you're not breaking this level. So it's something that you really want to look at. Hey, Stefan. Yeah, I've had a great weekend so far. Happy Labor Day. Hey, good evening. Yeah, I like doing this too. It's a lot of fun, actually. I even get ideas from it. So let's kick it off. Let's start there. I've seen the negative divergence. I keep waiting for it to catch up. Okay. And it's got to catch up right now. That's exactly what you want to see. What's going on there. I mean, it doesn't get any cleaner. For me, this isn't a huge move anymore. The people that got in here at $1 or 100 or 1,000, I mean, they made the money. I'm not really interested in playing this for a 25% move. To me, is it there? Yeah, absolutely. It's there. But there's other ways to make 25%. But if you're in this or you're trying to figure out a way to play this, this is what you've been waiting for. You had a little wedge right here. You broke that wedge. You closed on that bar, right? I'm using the futures, right? So just so you can see what I'm using. And when they say the bars are closing, so you can see what I'm referring to. But that's exactly what you want to see. Exactly. And you're grinding. You're not running higher, which is kind of interesting. So maybe this continues. Obviously, this is a bottom. I mean, this is pretty clearly a bottom level now. So let's see how this plays out, and we'll go from there. So let's just see. Let me just keep going here. I like it, actually. I mean, so let me just go here with this. So we're on the same page. I like it. I mean, if I was going to play it, this is where you play it. It's doing what you need. MSTR, I've been watching. The only thing I don't like about MSTR, and I do think it goes higher, I just don't understand why we're not moving now. Like, why aren't we going now when the stock starts going up? It just has not been participating at all. Hasn't been falling out of bed, but it just really has not been participating at all when it collapses, right? When we're not moving in the same magnitude that we moved with Bitcoin before. They are stepping us up left, right? But that's really it. That's all that's going on. mRNA. I think I'm going to start doing the live earlier. I might start doing the live at like 8. I just have to see a couple things, but I don't want to give an exact time yet. But I like this a lot. I was absolutely floored with this move on Friday, and I really want to see if it's real. But I was absolutely floored with this. And, the negative news, and it does this. Now, it could just be Friday action, right? Just a way to squeeze somebody. But you bounced right off that 8-day, and you just ripped. And you just encapsulated that previous bar, even though it's a green on green. I still love to see that. And you went right through 413, right through it. So that counts you. I mean, look, this is how you look at these, okay? This is your level of your bear flag. You're in a bear flag, and we should all be able to see that, right? Here's your flagpole, and now you're through your bear flag. This counts you to here. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, okay? So we know that this H pattern failed, right? So look at this one, and then I'll do MRVI. Look at this H pattern. Look what failed, right? It failed. So far, it's failed to break. As much as I think that it's going to snap here, right? And as much as I think it could go to 250, it's not doing that yet. So, you might want to keep that on your radar. MRVI. So this was our level, and you can see I can get rid of this, remove this, and I can get rid of this. So this was our level. We broke out, reversed, went through the open, which was a clear sell signal, and then reversed, and now you just have Wick City all over the place. Then you have this body on Friday encompassing this body essentially. It's not a full encompass, so it's not a bearish engulfing, but this doesn't bode well. And I'm just going to show you something that you should pay attention to and just make a note of this. When you have a position like this and you have wicks, right, like this is all price rejection. Remember from that candlestick video? Okay, you need to avoid that. That's not something that you want to be involved with at all. It's not something you want to be involved with or think about. It means you're in for more pain. So this looks like it's going to break to me and sell down. So I'd be really careful here. Hi, Isaiah. So let's just see here. Happy Labor Day. So Amazon. Hey, Drake. So let's go over Amazon. So if you take a look just on the chart, this is your trend line. And you've been unable to clear it and get above it and stay above it. You tried here, failed, tried again, failed. Then you have this little reversal on Friday where they gap us down a little bit and then reverse us and close us over that, which is good. If you flip this level on Friday or Tuesday, Tuesday. If you flip this level on Tuesday and you push, it's exactly what you're looking for. Okay, it's exactly what you're looking for. And that's something that you need to consider. So just keep that in mind. But that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to go from here, and I'm just looking to push straight up. Okay? And keep that in mind. I do like this a lot. But it's got to break that. For the live show tomorrow, I'm going to probably start it at 8. I mean, that's really what I'm shooting for. I just have to see how my morning goes. But I want to start it from 8 to like 9:15 so that we have way more time on there. That was the plan with moving the post video and combining everything to pre in the morning. I just think we're better off. I think it just makes more sense. Roku, shakeout before the rip? That's a great question. So for me, look, let's just put this all out there, okay? The 50's pointing down. I couldn't close above, and let's just zoom in on this. I couldn't close above the 200. I opened above the 200. I encapsulated the entire bar here, and now I broke down on an undergap, and then they just ran me up. Now, that running up is pretty significant. Okay, because I'm surprised they did that, frankly, and it's pretty clean. It's not a wonky one, right? Like, I mean, here was your rip. You went up your you went all the way up. You almost gap filled completely, came back down, didn't break it, and curled towards the end of the day. So I'm not sure here. What I would do is, like, let's say that you want to own this. You're not really setting up here for a major move higher. At all. What you're setting up for is maybe you're going to go back into the base. And that might not be the worst thing, because from these levels, let's just do this on an hourly. It'll be cleaner and easier. And let's get rid of these. But really on an hourly, like, look at this. I was looking at this. Okay. So there's your wedge line on your hourly. This is your, breakdown. Here's your flag. You broke, right? Now, if you can get above a higher high, so like, let's say on this, you can get above 343.60, right? Just get up on, and we're just looking at an hourly trade, right? You could actually make an argument that there's a bull flag here and that this gets you above it on the hourly. Now, if that's the case, you could get the 375 on a trade. And that's not a bad trade. I mean, that's really not. If you're just looking for it from a trade perspective, right, that gets you 9% or 30 points. I don't view that as a bad idea. That's where you are on the chart. That's not exactly, a ringing endorsement of something to buy, but I like that. I like it if you're looking at it from that standpoint, Stefan. Figs, double bottom, I don't know. So on figs, yeah, I don't really see a double bottom here. I see a stock that's in trouble. I mean, I can get rid of all of this and start over because there's so many lines on here. Look, I mean, this is really your focal point right now. Okay. That's your focal point. So you need to hold that and stay above that level. And this is nasty, man. Like when you have a long rejection like that, you don't really look at it this way because it looks a little different when you throw it like this. Like it just doesn't have the same force associated with it, right? It's why I don't use bars to like teach. It's why I use candles, because you get so much more information from a candle than you do from a bar. So what you're seeing here is you're seeing a complete rejection of this area, complete of all this up here, right? Has just been completely and utterly rejected. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. I wouldn't be rushing into that. NVIDIA, I love, absolutely love. We've got a great position from the newsletter. All-time high close. That's what I'm working on the newsletter now for those that are going to get it tonight. And I mean, this is not like that proprietary that you're trapped between two wedge lines. I mean, anyone can do that, but I like this. And I'll tell you what I really like. Here was that evening star, right? Where you pull up and you think that's it. And you're like, oh, right. It goes right to that level. You're like, it's going to roll again. Undercuts, forms this little wedge, breaks out of the wedge on Friday, the day that you think it's not going to, right? So if you flip this level on Tuesday, you're going to break this, I think. I do. I think you're going to break that. And I want to just point something else out while we're here. You're seeing a lot of this. You're seeing a lot of reversals on this sector. I mean, some of these, you're really seeing that that's the socks. So for those that want to play like the smaller names that have been looking at like AMKR, we've been talking about these names for some time, Lamb Research, like you may have put in a bottom on Friday. And you may be basing to put in your short-term bottom might be in, newsletter, we're in this, 50 points ago. I wouldn't be playing with this now. You needed to pull back, but they're all looking exceptional. And I think that this is your leader for the year. I think this is going to be your leader to the end of the year. I expect to see volumes pick up drastically this week. It's going to start and it's going to be like that until Christmas, to the holiday season. There's no, it's got that feel to it. And I've seen this before. People are going to start chasing performance. All I saw was go Cowboys, and I blacked the whole thing out. Brandon, looks like wedge breakout. Hopefully you're right. 49ers will be back. I think you have a good team, Stefan. I like the Niners. Hey, Daryl. All right. Happy Labor Day, DB. What do you got? CEIKPLTPETV. So CLI. So this whole section, this is what you're asking about, CLI. This whole section looks amazing, okay? And I don't know what this one's going to do because they're all individual, but that's the real estate investment trust sector, okay, of the S&P. That tells you very clearly they don't think rates are going up. Now, why is that going up? If you have a bad jobs number, okay, that means one thing. That means that they're not going to raise rates or taper. If that's the case, people are going to buy yield. Where are they going to get yield? Commercial real estate. Okay. I mean, the one that I've been really focused on is this one because it just makes a lot more sense to me. There's more of an edge there, but I understand why you're looking at this if you're looking for that specific area, because I believe that the majority of their stuff is in the West Coast. But if you're looking at where you would get in this at, I mean, you're really looking here, right? You really got to close above that 18, and you're having a hard time doing that. So I would watch that. KPLT, you basically have a wedge gap. And where'd you close after hours? Yeah, you were down a little bit. I mean, you have a wedge gap. That's really all you have here, right? You have that wedge that formed here. Then you gapped up. This forms it when you gap here, just so we're clear, you gap down, then you gap up. This forms an island. So you have an island gap reversal on this bar. Okay. So from that, you just start taking off. And it goes. And it went. Look, you're probably getting $8. I don't know if you're getting above this. I don't know if we're expecting news. I'm not sure why we sold down, but there's your trend line on it. So keep that in mind. But I like that name. I like the action I saw the other day. There's another one I saw that there's two I saw tomorrow that are going to be really interesting, but we'll have to see. So in regards to this one, you got to get in that gap. Look, you have to get in that gap if that's what you're trying to do. And you can see every time you try to do it, somebody's up there whacking it, playing whack-a-mole. So you have a seller up here still. And that seller was the opening price. And they're still here selling down, and they're still here selling down. They have not gone away. You need to clear that person out or people out before you get involved with that. Oh, you're welcome, buddy. All right, Victor. Okay. So I would focus on, let me just take a couple of these. Let's take VRNS and ESTC. So let's do VRNS. So if they're getting added to the S&P, it's just, you can see what it's going to do. I mean, it's just been ripping since that announcement, right? So any addition like that is just going to continue to make it rip. And that's exactly what's happened. I don't know where they stop. I mean, you never know where these things stop. It's the same thing with crowd. You just don't know when it's over, right? Like I was showing this on crowd on this day trade. You think that this is over, right? And then you look at it here on a weekly, and that does not look like it's over. So I'm not really sure what's going on there or how many shares are outstanding, but that's it on a weekly. And now you have an all-time high close on the weekly, 2 weeks. And these bars are literally open as the low, close as the high, open as the low, close in the high. So if I was a betting person, which I am, that's probably not over, right? So it's a really simple trade. And no matter how you get there, it's the same level, right? Whether I use that and say that I'm waiting for that wedge break, or whether I just simply say I'm waiting for the top of here, it's 6 1/2. It's the same level, right? If you flip that and you want to play this, you could play this. What you're going to look for, where your issue is going to come into account, it's going to be here. Okay. This is where your issue is going to come in, 84. Until then, I don't see any real issues there. I just don't see anything. ESTC. So, and I would just recommend this again to people, really important. Look through your weekly charts on all your positions, as well as your daily charts at the end of the week. You'll get a different sense of it. See, like 172.86 is our issue there, right? So that's really what we're looking for. And you can see where your problem is, 172.86, 172.86. You try to break out, you can't. So there's your issue. I mean, that's really what you're looking for. GSAT. I don't like all the wicks. So this I could even stand, right? How they come out with that news. It's good news. It comes down. It doesn't fill the gap. And we can kind of see where, let me just click on this. Okay. Let's just click on this. And you can see where we lie, right? So you have that level you have to concern yourself with, and that's your stop. This is not something I'd be jumping into, right? I mean, all I had was massive selling, not followed by any real buying. It's not something I'd be jumping into, that's for sure. So I would just watch and wait. You can have better ideas. Hey, Doug. So see what's going on here, Doug? Like I can get rid of this for a moment, right? And I can get rid of all these other little levels. We really don't need them all. Okay. And we're just going to start over. So, and I mean, I can use that because there's the wick. That's fine. So you can see what's going on here. Bonk, 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 bonk. So if I flip this, okay, that's going to, if I flip this level, that gets me back into this channel and then it could really go. But I need to flip that, Doug, and I got to get volume. I have no volume here whatsoever. So you just have to watch that, you know, and you can see this here, but you've just fallen off a cliff. But this is setting up. I mean, this could go, but you need volume and you just don't have any, and you haven't had any for months. So maybe Labor Day changes that. I mean, just watch that. You're welcome, Nicholas. Hey, Dan. So, I like the IWM. I mean, I really do. I like it. I mean, the one thing I've been saying about it is this is what I've been waiting for, and we're finally getting it. And what you're seeing here, look, I mean, look how you're wedged in here. Okay. 234.17, right? So 207, right? You're wedged in here on this. So I like this. I think it's setting up to break out. I think we're setting up to push to the end of the year. I really do. I think that they're going to find out that, you know, they're not going to raise rates. It's going to go out longer than they thought. There are some things that could happen that could make them raise rates, but we'll see how that happens. We'll see what comes out there. But I like it. You know, maybe we slow down now. Maybe we don't. You know, I'm not so sure what's going to happen here. So I like it a lot. I mean, every pullback has been buying, right? Every single one. And then Friday was just, you know, Friday. I mean, you can't really look at Friday and determine anything there, right? I mean, Friday, the volume was just so light. So you just have to kind of keep that out. Nicholas, I really like Asan. When to take profits, I have no interest in taking profits right now. None. I have zero interest. I'm not thinking about profits right now. So I couldn't have made this any clearer. Like when you break a channel like this, it's really important. And in a couple of videos, I laid this out there pretty clearly. You essentially have a base, and then off that base, you have a hammer bar, which is basically a dragonfly, which basically signifies a bottom. So to have this on top of your chart is extremely rare, and it shows massive buying. And it's really important to understand that. And that's one of the reasons you saw such follow through on Friday on such a light day. You know, everyone else's stocks were falling down volume wise. This is hitting another high, right? I mean, we're not as high as the earnings day, obviously, but look at this. You're still in the top 10. So this could really run. I like it a lot. I'm not even remotely thinking of taking profits in this yet. You know, not even close yet. I'm not saying that, you know, you can always take a profit, Nicholas. You can always do it. Oh, you're welcome, K9. Oh, CEI. I don't know where I got that from. Let me just do CEI. Asking me these little guys. You know, I don't do well with these little guys because they can be so easily manipulated. I mean, essentially, you have to trade them when they break out, right? And then you have to do it immediately, and you have to treat them like options. Okay. If you do that, you'll do well with it. If you know that you can own it and that you're got to be halved in it, right, before you can get out of it, then you'll play it accordingly. I mean, that's your range. That's how you have to look at this, right? It doesn't matter what it does, how much volume it comes in. You have to look at this as an option, you know, that you're trying to double on, right? That's what you're trying to do here. So your stop has to be 65 cents, and you can't really get involved with this until it gets over 95 because you don't have any edge. I mean, you do have volume that's coming in, but it's like a little penny stock. So they're harder to play with. They really are. So NVIDIA we've done, AMD we've done. Let's do Tesla and Affirm. So Tesla, I really like. I think this could be your week for Tesla. So let me go here now and blow this up. So this has been your issue, right? Wednesday, 742, Thursday, 742. Here's your reversal. And now you're trying to get up here, right? So now we have to get up to this level. That's what we're shooting for now. So I like it. I do. I like it. I think it could go. Affirm. So, this is one of those things where I don't know if they're going to start getting some of the terms that they have with Amazon. Wow, I got a lot of lines on here. So I don't know if they're going to get some of the terms, and that's what we're starting to see and why we saw weakness on Friday. But somebody on Friday wanted out, and they just didn't want out. They really wanted out. Like they sold down. Look, they encapsulated Thursday's bar. They encapsulated Wednesdays, Tuesdays, right? Did you encapsulate, right? I mean, you basically, well, you didn't encapsulate this one, but that's not good. So you've broken this little wedge line right here, which you should be able to see, obviously. But that's not good. So I'd watch this 91.25. And if you break that, I'd get out of the way. Docu I like. That was a great quarter. We were just looking for follow through. That's all I was looking for there. Great volume, like great volume. On a really bad day. Like, well, I shouldn't say bad day. Light volume day would be more correct. But look at that. I mean, pretty clear where your buy is. And you have a channel right here that you're kind of flipping already. Here, look. Look at this. Right? I mean, you got that there. I mean, you could have some issues here. I thought you were a little closer. 331. But I do think you're going to flip this and push. It does have that feel to it. So it's definitely something to consider. I would not rule this trade out. I would not think that trade's over. Hey, Jerry. Pub M. So you really just have to watch this. I really don't see a sense in doing anything. We had earnings. Obviously, they were not perceived as great. Stock sold down on that. And you can't hold that level, right? You keep testing it and testing it. Hopefully, you hold that level. If you break that level and close below that level again, you're going to have an issue. So I would watch that. That's not something I'd want to be involved with. You're welcome, Victor. But I would watch this. I would not be rushing into that, Jerry. I'd be really careful there. NTLA. Yeah, I do like that name. I do like this name. You're just in that range, right? Like you're trapped until it makes a decision. I mean, there's not really much more to say here. You're stuck in that range. Like here, look. It's not going anywhere. It's trying. The first hurdle is this. You have to get through 178. And it's not doing it yet. So we just have to wait for that. Hey, Bob. I think Hut and BTCM, based upon Bitcoin, could move this week. I do. BTCM was one I was actually trading on Friday. I was in and out of it a couple times. I mean, I made money, but nothing like I wanted to. I was really trying to stay in it, assuming that Bitcoin was going to do what it did this weekend and go up like 4 or 5%. Because, there was nothing else to trade for 3 days. So everybody just starts trading crypto because there's nothing to trade in the stock market. But I wanted to be in it for tomorrow. It just didn't work out that way. But I do think that they could move. That's not really the action I was looking for on Friday. And this actually acted substantially better. And maybe this is the one that moves, And let's just show a couple things here so you can see these levels. So, and this was your close right there. So, I mean, you're roughly both in the same level. You just might as well use this or use 11 as your price point now. I mean, that's really what you need. You need 11, then you need it to flip. But this one definitely moved. That's a pretty solid move. The BTCM did move. It just gave it all back. 13. And it presented another opportunity for us to trade it, but it is what it is. They could both move tomorrow. Uber, let's take a look, Jerry. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know why we're not really moving here, but you see this area from back here? We can look at this on a weekly, Jerry, just to kind of get a better understanding of what the heck is going on, right? I mean, I don't know why this is such an issue, this area, but it's an issue. It actually it even goes back. There's even more of an issue here. So, until it figures out what it's going to do, right now you just broke a weekly H from this point. And the count of that was from 51 to 45, 6 points. So, I mean, you basically just did that count and now you stopped. I don't know if you hold here or not. I mean, I really don't. I don't know the reason why people are just throwing in the towel on this. Are people not taking Ubers? Are people not using them as much because people aren't in the cities? I don't know. I don't really know what the issue is there. Maybe we thought the economy was going to get better and it's not. I'm not really sure why it's not doing what it should be doing, but it's not. It's rallying and selling down, rallying, selling down. So I'd watch this. I would not be trying to pick a bottom on this. You undercut this bottom and then you'd have to take out this high for that to be a double bottom. You haven't done that. This time when you tried to break down, you couldn't even break that bottom, and then you tried and you couldn't do that. So I would watch that here. Yeah, I can look at Nike. Let's go take a look at Nike and see what's going on there. So it's just you're falling off a cliff. I mean, you had a huge monster run, right? And you should be able to see this line. And it's really important when you have these wedge lines and they break to pay attention to them, because that's usually the end of the move. And that's probably the end of that move. You're probably going to base for a while before this goes any higher. This was an enormous move for Nike. I mean, Nike does, besides the pandemic, and I threw the fib levels in so you could kind of get a sense of them. And you could, it's not a coincidence to me that this fib level just happens to fit right on where this cross is. But, it's a conversation for a different time. But you see how you have your little nasty red bar here, and then you just start falling down. Maybe you hold here. Maybe that doji holds. Maybe that holds. I don't know. I wouldn't put too much faith into it. I really wouldn't. So, I would not be a buyer of this. I would wait until you can see what do something. Hey, Michael. HUM. I bought the calls for the 435 strike down 11%. Think it has potential. Michael, do me a favor. Just tell me what expiration you have. That would be most helpful if you're asking for an opinion. So I don't know what strike you have, and that's going to make all the difference with this. So here's your bigger issue. Okay, you buy these stocks. These stocks get bought when? These types of stocks, Humana, get bought when we don't think that we're going to explode to the upside and we want to protect capital. Do we think that we're going to need to protect capital right now? The answer is probably not. So earnings were a disaster for whatever reason. I don't know enough about the story to answer that. If you do, please let me know. But you have to get above this level. And right now you're having a heck of a time with that. So this is not something I'd be rushing into. Let me get rid of these, clean it up. I mean, you see this? You're kind of curling and trying to hold, but you're not really holding it. So just let me know your strike. And if you throw it in down there, hey, Doug. All right, pins. So usually like tomorrow morning, I'll have ideas that I'll go over with the group Sunday nights for me, and we're going to do this Monday night, so obviously it's fresh. It's just for me to review ideas with everybody. So please throw out your ideas, and I'll stay for a little bit, and we'll get through them all. But tomorrow I have a bunch of stuff I want to get over for the pre-show, and I'll do it then. But look, you undercut. This was a disaster. I mean, I'll be honest. I was buying it down here. I thought we were going to hold. Then we broke out this level right here. I mean, this is why it's so important for everybody to hear these words. You need stops, right? So like, was I better off staying in this trade, waiting for it to come back after I got stopped out? Or was I better off playing like UPST and, NVIDIA, where I'm waiting for it to figure out what it wants to be when it grows up? So I think you just have to think about that a little bit in your trading. But what I would say here is that you have an issue. And I don't know where this issue stops. And we're seeing that issue. The only place we're not seeing this issue with these internet companies, for whatever reason, we're not seeing it here. We're not seeing it in Shop, right? We're not seeing it in Melly. Okay. We're not seeing it really in Etsy. Okay. We're not seeing the sell down on earnings on these kinds of names. We did here actually, because they were bad, right? So actually, it was actually an example of coming back. But you're seeing these massive blowups where I guess people are just done. Like, look at Chewy. Like, people are just done with these companies as far as utilizing them. And I think that's fair. Like, even Amazon, I think that's fair when you look at these gap down. Like, these comps coming into June, July of last year, did we really think they were going to be at pre-pandemic or pandemic levels? It wasn't smart. I mean, that was the easiest short in the world. And if you play earnings, that was the easiest comp short in the world. AVGO looks like a beast. So to me, this just looks like an absolute utter beast. See this base? This is exactly what it does. Look at this. So see this? You base and you think nothing. You base for a year, right? Yes, you have your pandemic, but you base for a year and it breaks out and it goes. 15, 16, base for a year, and then it goes. Look, I mean, it's constant, right? So this is not going anywhere. This is not going anywhere. Let's see what we got here. Yep, I thought I did check. Yep, I checked it. Just let me know what strike you have. Hey, Paul. Chewy, I think, has got issues. I don't know if people decided that they were going to go to Petco or wherever to go buy their supplies, but we're just not seeing the growth. And until that growth comes back, you're stuck. So you have a company that missed. You have a growth company that missed, guidelines. And well, let me rephrase that, because you really didn't. Right? What you really missed was you missed exceeding expectations, and you weren't even close to it. And now you're just selling down. So you're probably you're hoping to stop at 75. If not, you're heading down to here and you're heading to 64. And yes, it can get there. Like here, you have to look at this for a second, Paul. See you right here. So you have this. I'm just going to draw this out. Okay. So that's your first level. Now you've broken that level, and that would get you to here, right? So when you break a wedge, the low becomes your stop. So that's your stop, right? That you should stop there. If that doesn't happen, just FYI, you have broken another wedge. You have broken this wedge. If I can't hold here, that's your stop. So this is in trouble. And this had to make a decision. You see how when you gap down and then it takes out the low, you're going lower. Like, so that's very similar to, like, I'll give you one that's the exact opposite. Okay. I could use team too. Here's when you broke out over the high, right? You're doing the exact opposite here, Paul. And that's what you're going to have to watch. So just watch the 75.13 level if you're still in there. And then if not, realize that you can get into the 60s. And you were there in May. There's no reason you can't get back there. So yeah, it's just not working. So yeah, I don't know that you're, Michael, to answer this as I keep going through these. I don't know that you're getting 20 points by them, brother. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know that that's going to happen. If you're down 10%, it might be time. It might be time to move on. And if you want to stay in there and you're in the 435 strikes and you're only down 10% and you want to hang in there for some reason, if you think something's going to come up, sell a call against your position, selling out of the sell like the 450s or something to lower your cost. But if you can't get over, let me just go through this for you since you have this position on. If you can't get over this week, right? If you cannot get over that in like the first couple days of the week, you need to go because you're just going to start bleeding because all you have is time value and implied volatility. That's all your option is. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, Asan, you just need to stay with. Hey, Rocky. So ASOCELH and Percy, then I'll do Playboy. CELH. I love it. I love it. I'm all over it. So you have this trend line up here. Just watch it. $90. We're in this in the newsletter from 80. I think it's going to be a triple digit stock. You have an issue here. Just pay attention to that. You have an issue here and you have to make sure it gets through it. I think you're going to get through it. I like when you come down, retest your support level, which is exactly what this did. And then it bounced off support, right? Went right back over the open and then just kept on going. It's exactly what you want to say. Doesn't get any better than that. Doesn't get any stronger than that. ASO, that whole space, I don't know if everybody's stopping going to online stores and buying sporting equipment, but like Dick's, ASO, even there's another one, this one, right? Like they all just are on fire. They just all look great. Look, you're breaking out here and I think you can keep going. There's not really much more to say. I think it looks great. You have a trend line right here. Hold on. Let me show you this one because it changed up here, but that's got a 5 handle on it. You've nothing but room there, Rocky. I would just leave it alone. Percy, a lot of people brought this one up with me on Friday. I don't know enough about the NFT space. I started to learn it, and then I was watching people buy them, and then I was watching them not able to get out of them after they bought them. And so I kind of put them on the back shelf for now as something that I have to learn. But in regards to it, that's a very key level. Now, what would really get my interest here with Playboy, because you do have my interest with the 8 crossing the 21. And just FYI, I use simple moving averages, not exponential moving averages, in case you look at your averages and they're different. So that has my interest. What else has my interest is finally closing above the 200, but we've been doing that, right? Now, where was the major breakdown? The 50-day. When we broke that 50-day, we never came back, did we? Get me above that, and that shows me that I have support. I'm willing to wait for that. And if that happens, I will be very interested because that's going to get me above this too, most likely. Right? So then I have an undercut double bottom above the 50-day into the 30s and no real resistance to 39.77. This is a great one to look at volume by price on. Yep, because this paints a different picture. It shows you how much stuff you're going to have to deal with as it starts moving up. You have a long wall of worry to climb there, and you're going to have a lot of supply up that way. So just keep that in mind. But it could go. Upstart looks great, Jared. Looks great, acts great, is great. So right here, we were watching this level, and you had to flip it. And let's just zoom in on this. So this is your upper channel, right? And this is one of the things I was pointing out. And this is when you know you have something, and it's very rare, but I've been seeing a bunch of them, and it leads me to believe we're going higher. So here's a bearish engulfing, right? With a bearish engulfing with the red bar encapsulates the previous bar. Right after that, I have a green bar that gaps down and closes at the high, encapsulating the bearish engulfing, making it a bullish engulfing. That's about as strong as you can get as a move. I mean, that means that everybody that went home that night that sold here just came in and just went, oh, I got to buy it back. And guess what? A lot of people bought it back. And now you're starting to work your way up. When you flip these levels, when you flip these channel levels, and I was showing that here, and I was making a really big example of it here, I can actually shrink this circle down. That one's a little aggressive, isn't it? I can actually shrink this down too. So when you break out of this, you go parabolic. This is not parabolic. We're just starting. So I would not be surprised to see this just run into the end of the year at this point. I expect massive moves towards the end of the year and pretty good trading positions. Hey, Kelly. So Zillow has some issues, Kelly. I mean, let's get rid of this for a moment. So we ran up, right? And then when we ran up, this is the weekly. And then from there, now we pulled back down, formed an H. And then from that H, now you're starting to come back in. Right? You can see that line. Now from there, you look at this on the daily, you're just washed out. So I don't know, I don't know what's going to get this moving again. I really don't. But you have a lot of work to do, like a lot of work to do. So let's see what happens with it, but you have a lot of work to do. A lot. Like you haven't even started going over that yet. Let's throw the indicators in. Yeah. I mean, I would avoid this. If you're in it and I took out this low, this 90 level, I would probably get out. I don't think you have much going on there. mRNA, Mara and Planter. Yeah, let's do it. I mean, MARA, I mean, I just keep waiting. I think maybe tomorrow is the day. I don't like these patterns. And so I avoided it. I don't like when I have a rising wedge and I have wick after wick after wick. I don't like that. It doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy. Like it just feels me like I'm setting myself up for a disaster. So I avoided it. Now I think I'm wrong because we had this, right? So that should load in. I don't know why that's not. There we go. Let me try that one more time. I don't know what's giving me a hard time with that symbol. It's interesting. Go back to it. So when I start seeing wicks like this, even though we have Bitcoin breaking out, maybe if I do it this way, it'll let me. Yeah, it's giving me a hard time with Bitcoin for some reason right now. All right, let's stop with Bitcoin. So I just worry when I get wicks like this over and over and over again. So $25 3/4. That was your level. That's what you needed. You got it. But you're heading to this 27.5. Now you got to figure out what you're going to do with that, right? I mean, that's really what it boils down to. I mean, that really becomes your bigger issue, doesn't it? So that's really what you have to focus on. What are you going to do there? I'm interested getting over 27.5. Over 27.5, I may start looking at it for myself. I haven't gone really near it yet because I've had too many failed breakouts. But this can go towards the end of the year. I think I can go. Yeah, I mean, you're just going to be bleeding on the option. You're just going to keep bleeding out. So, I mean, you have to set a level. BYSIDLO. So there's your levels. I mean, it's pretty clean. There's nothing to do here. That's going to roll. You're setting up here. This is telling you you're setting up to go into this gap. I mean, I can put the indicators in, but they're not going to tell me anything different. I mean, you're going to at least come down to here. Every one of these is stepping you down. So I wouldn't be too crazy to be getting into that right now. DLO. DLO is the one that just kept trying to go and then just didn't, right? So this is the one we've been talking about. And I just keep saying, like, we got to close over 70. And notice how we just can't do what I needed to do. And not only can we not do what I needed to do, it's actually getting worse, right? The opens are starting to happen there. They're ripping us up on purpose. You have to watch when they do this. They open you up, they rip you up here like they're going to go, and then they reverse and the selling comes in, and it's happened twice. Now I can't even close above the 68.71. So to me, I'd be really cautious here until I see this do something like close above 70. Until then, I'd probably avoid it. Even if I miss it, I'd probably avoid it at this point. Because, I mean, they're just walking you down. The closes are getting lower and lower. So something's wrong there. So, yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe that's what it is, Darren. So what else you got? AMD. Let me do AMD. I think I did do AMD earlier, but I'll do it again so people don't have to go and look for it. So I like this. I think that Friday might be the end of the sell down. I think you might hold here and push higher. I'm looking for it to clear 111.71, and then we can start getting through this wedge line, 113, and then push up to 122.50. They're your levels. You close below this, Rocky, and you have to get out. CIDM. I know you hate these little ones. That's I do. CIDM. Yeah, no. I mean, like, what could you see? This? I mean, you still haven't even gotten above this. So let's take a look at it on the weekly. Maybe I'll see something that you see. I don't see anything that has me feeling excited about this. I'm not saying it can't work. I just don't see it. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Dan. Oh, if you're short, Chewy, stay short, brother. Just stay short. Great call. Stay short. If you're short, Chewy, here, let me review that differently, Paul. Here, look. If you're short this, I mean, it doesn't get any cleaner than that. Like, I'll just show you this on the weekly. That's your weekly, right? I mean, that's telling you you're going to hear $64. So I was trying to sugarcoat it a little bit, but if you're short, I think you're going to $64. I mean, it's a very simple trade if you're short, right? There's your stop, $80, and that's it. Other than that, leave it alone. Let it go. Because I think you're going to go lower. So, all right, I'm going to have to start wrapping this up. Let me get through some of these. Penn, yep, I agree. I'm long Donkey Kong. So I think it's the better play. I think this has more issues. It is trying, but you're just not having the follow through. So you see how you can't even get above average volume here? And I think it's, you're below your 200 day. So if you had to pick which one has stronger relative strength, okay, this one does. Why? Well, for one, I'm above all my moving averages, okay? So that's the easiest way to determine which one of these to play. Now, I keep butting against the 60, 63, but what did I do on Thursday and Friday? I broke through it. And I agree with you. NFL season starting. Next quarter's earnings for this company are going to be through the roof. And then on top of that, you have the Super Bowl going into February, right? End of January, early February. So I think these are going to be through the roof. I like it a lot. Piton, just everyone got all excited. I don't see it. I think it's done. I tried it a couple times over the 200, but the recall, everything else, the events, like it's not a good quarter, man. I actually traded it after hours on the long side, made money, but the real money is going to be made just staying short this now. So, you're welcome, Rocky. Yeah, exactly. Price action's everything. And then you're just going to bleed. So you just got to get out of it. CMG, I like, I'm actually looking at options on it just because it's an $1,900 stock. I like it. And I like the reversal on Friday. I really want to focus on one pattern if I can. Anytime you have a bar like this that encapsulates several other daily bars, that's what you want to see. Okay. So I like this and I think this is ready to go again. So I really do. I'm just trying to find a way in. BNTX, I actually think could bounce. Now, whether or not we get a short off there or not, I don't know, but I think we could bounce here, and I think you have to watch that. DOCN, and I'm going to finish what's in the queue. This broke out and ran. There's not really a whole heck of a lot more to say. You broke your upper channel level. I had two of them here. You broke them, and you closed at the all-time high on high volume. I mean, this is really simple. Get above this, and you probably push. Okay? So you just might want to wash it, but that's got to be a trade now. So mRNA and NVAX. Hey, you two. So mRNA right here, you're still, I did this one a little earlier. I'll just cover it very quickly. You broke that bear flag, and so you should go to the top of the flagpole, 455, 454. That's where you could go to tomorrow, or this week, I should say. NVAX, with all this bad press these companies were getting, I thought that we would see NVAX and Johnson & Johnson go higher, but it's not the case. You're respecting these trend lines massively. So until this changes its tune, I would not go near this. I would stay away from that. So, and INMD looks amazing. It flipped here. We talked about this. It flipped here, and then it went. So the only way to really play this now, once you flip like this, is to play this. That's the only thing you can do, because you see how you have an issue with it. But if you flip 134.11, I'm actually going to put an alert there for a trade. If you flip that level, you can go. But that's the level you need to flip and close above, and then take a look at that and get involved. All right, everyone, I still got to look at charts and get on with the day. If you need me, you know how to reach me. Just email me or comment here. Everybody, I'm going to shoot for between 8 and 8:30 tomorrow, but I'm going to try and do earlier pre-market for a longer period of time with everybody. So we'll see how this goes, but I'll be finalizing the time this week. All right, everyone, have a great night.